So, a new Smash Bros was just announced for the Nintendo Switch, and like everyone else, I went nuts over the reveal.
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! Holy shit! Holy shit!
I've been trying to not expect Smash to show up at Nintendo Directs ever since Smash 4 was released, because if you do believe Smash will show up at every single Direct, you'll just end up hating them until Smash does show up. It appears that the Inklings from Splatoon are confirmed as newcomers to the roster, and while I don't particularly care about the games themselves, I am happy with their inclusion, since I think they will be fun to play as. They wouldn't be my first choice, however, which is why I've made this video. I would make a countdown for most wanted Smash fighters, but honestly, I couldn't make a top 10 for that, maybe not even a top 5. I do want lots of newcomers of course, but I'll let Nintendo decide those for themselves. However, there is a character I absolutely want to join the fray, and while he's not a Nintendo character, I do think he has a decent chance of getting into Smash. The character I'm referring to is Rayman, who I've already showed love for in previous videos, including a review of the awesome third game. Despite not being the most popular character out there, especially not compared to the third-party characters that are already part of the roster, Rayman does have quite a handful of games on Nintendo consoles. Even at one point, Rayman Legends was supposed to be a Wii U exclusive, and while that deal didn't come to fruition, the Wii U was still the highest rated version of that game, and let's not forget that its definitive edition is on Switch, but then again, most people would argue that it's not very definitive at all. Rayman was even the victim to the most convincing Smash leak to ever exist, made by Omni Jakala, and I, along with many others, were disappointed to find out this leak wasn't official, which goes to show that Rayman does indeed have a dedicated group of followers, albeit small. I'm not mad at Omni for making this leak, by the way. In fact, I really admire him for it. Not only is it a fantastic design that he put a lot of effort into, but it also gave Rayman the recognition he deserves. Plus, it was a pretty excellent marketing scheme to promote his channel, Smashified, where he makes potential Smash designs for characters. Alright, moving on to the main topic of this video, where I'll give a well-rounded idea of how I would implement Rayman into Smash, and throughout this video you'll come to realize that Rayman is pretty much designed for Smash already, which is the third reason why I think he has a decent chance of making the cut. You can basically use assets from Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc and Rayman Origins/Legends, and you practically have everything you need. I will start by covering Rayman's moveset. I think nearly all A attacks should come from Origins/Legends, with the neutral attack being a regular stun punch that can be performed thrice, followed by an extended and more powerful punch that knocks the foes back, working like pretty much every other neutral. The side tilt would just be a simple kick, which would push enemies back by a little. Up tilt has to be an uppercut of course, which basically works like Mario's. Down tilt is a sweep kick, also like Mario's, pushing opponents slightly up in the air. The dash attack would obviously be where Rayman swings his fist, similar to Luigi's down special. Neutral air is a regular kick, which works like the side tilt kick I suggested. Forward air would actually be a meteor smash with Rayman's fists that has the ability to spike enemies, just like Donkey Kong's own forward air. Back air would be this kick, which could work like Diddy Kong's. Up air would be an upward kick, which I suppose would work similarly to Fox's up air, but with longer reach and slightly bigger range. And of course, the down air would have to be Rayman's downward thrust, much like Greninja's, as you can bounce after successfully hitting an opponent. The side smash will be the only A attack that doesn't use anything from Origins/Legends. It will instead utilize the lockjaw from Rayman 3, which has long range and hits enemies thrice very rapidly. Up smash is Rayman's hair propeller, which works like Bowser Jr.'s own up smash. Finally, the down smash makes Rayman perform a quick roll attack. I've seen a few videos about Rayman's potential moveset for Smash beforehand, and while they've given good suggestions, including most of the A attacks I've already mentioned, I was saddened by the lack of Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc. Not just because it's my favorite game in the series, but also because it has the most fitting special attacks, grabs, and obviously skins. Rayman's moveset from this point onward will consist of things from Rayman 3 only, with its various combat fatigues.
A laser detergent that transforms your clothes into combat fatigues!
Combat fatigues! That's exactly what we need! You're right!
Neutral B would have to be the heavy metal fist that you can obviously charge up to deliver maximal damage. Side B deploys the shock rocket, which I'm thinking could be remotely controlled around the battlefield while standing still, like the Earthbound siblings' neutral specials, which by the way means that the attack is super powerful. However, this move seems very limiting, so another suggestion is that the shock rocket works like Samus's rockets, specifically the hard ones that move in a straight line. Up B, aka Rayman's recovery, is the throttle copter, which gives him plenty of airtime, like Olimar's, Villagers, and Duck Hunt Duo's recoveries. Finally, the down B is the vortex, which wouldn't shrink down enemies like in Hoodlum Havoc, as I'm afraid that would be too powerful. It would instead act like Ness's and Lucas's Down specials, in which they create a ball that absorbs projectiles and lowers their own percentages, which makes sense for the Vortex since they suck things in. Rayman would obviously use the lockjaw for grabs, which functions exactly like Link's hookshot, Samus's plasma whip, and Lucas's snake, as it's able to grab enemies from a distance, latch onto edges, and be used as a stun attack while in midair. It would be cool if it could also latch onto enemies to pull Rayman towards them, which would make for some interesting combos. Pressing A while grabbing enemies would electrify them, instead of punching them like most other fighters do. Finally, the throws should be similar to Samus's, with the lockjaw throwing enemies like a whip. Rayman has a few final smash options to choose from. He could for example summon Murphy to continually stun enemies, or maybe use that flying vehicle from Hoodlum Havoc's late game, but the Hood Stomper is the one I would choose.
Coming to you live from Clearleaf Stadium, where local favorite Rayman is on hand to settle the score with the Hoodlums.
Like, just imagine using this gigantic machine to launch enemies off the battlefield, meanwhile having someone commentate it. I think that would be pretty epic. Much like his attacks, Rayman's animations are really easy to find. I'm starting with taunts, and one of them has to be where he grimaces with his tongue sticking out. Also, for added detail, I think a black lum should come out of Rayman's mouth after opening it, for the lum to turn red immediately after, as it would be a cool reference to an ability in Hoodlum Havoc. Another taunt should be Rayman's dance from the second game, The Great Escape, which is the first time I've mentioned that game in this video. I'm sorry, but I haven't played much of it, so let me know in the comments if Rayman should have more stuff from that game as well. The final taunt could be Rayman dribbling his body like a football, which is probably my favorite idle animation in the third game. Rayman's entrance would obviously be the one from Origins/Legends, where he makes a peace sign and shouts something. One of his victory animations could be him playing an invisible guitar, like at the end of a music level in Legends. Another victory animation, also from Legends, would be the dance he does after fully completing a level. And the final victory animation should be the one from Hoodlum Havoc after beating a boss fight. Rayman already has established animations for walking, running, turning, leaning, ducking, sliding, swimming, and hurting. It's almost as if Rayman is made for Smash. Now for Rayman's character model. While I do think Rayman 3's design looks cooler, I think his Origins/Legends design fits Smash a lot more, especially given that they're 2D games. Well, on the surface at least. Besides, that model is more up to date and would probably be used anyway. Unfortunately for the first 2 games in the series, both models look extremely outdated. Skins are really easy to figure out, as the franchise already has a plethora to choose from. There's obviously the regular purple skin with the blonde hair, the 5 different combat fatigues, and also Bad Rayman. Oh, and for good measure, and because it looks really cool, let's add the original Bad Rayman as well. Yeah, that's 8 skins, isn't that convenient? Alright, moving on to things that doesn't involve the Rayman character, but rather the Rayman universe. I think a good choice for a stage would be the third phase of the final boss in Rayman 3, which would be pretty big and have lots of platforms. Another stage could be espionage themed, with detection lasers and whatnot. A music themed stage would pretty much be a necessity for a Rayman stage, and I'm thinking it could be designed around those instrumental levels from Origins. As for the music, these tracks might not entirely fit the atmosphere of the stages I brought up, but I'm just going to list some I think should be added anyway. Rayman 3's Funky Boards, Begoniacs, Land of the Living Dead, Hoodoo Sorcerer, Snowboard Race, and the final boss theme. Rayman Origins main theme, Gibberish Jungle, Treasure Chase, and the final showdown. Rayman Legends Medieval Dragon, When the Wind Blows, Mariachi Madness, 20,000 Lumps Under the Sea, Infernal Pursuit, Hell's Gate, and finally Granny's World Tour. Finding items would take a while, so I'm just going to list a few. The plum is of course a very iconic item from the Rayman franchise, and it could definitely be food that lowers your percentage. The lucky ticket from Legends could be like the capsule that gives you a random item, except this one would only give you powerful items, as it is a lucky ticket. Finally, the blue fist from Legends would be a good ranged item, which turns red if you charge it long enough and becomes a lot more powerful while still having the same screen-wide range. Definitely an item that could be spawned from a lucky ticket. I want to flesh out Rayman in Smash as much as I can, so I'll throw in a few trophy suggestions as well. I'm not sure exactly how many trophies the series would be allowed to get, but in my opinion there should be trophies of Andre, Barbara, Captain Razorbeard, Glowbox, Lums, Lee, Mosquito, Mr. Dark, Murphy, Rayman, Reflux, and Teensies. Let me know if I missed anyone important. So, I've given my suggestions on how to implement Rayman into Smash. Okay, sure, lots of moves have been ripped straight from other characters, but that's the case with most fighters anyway. I'm not a competitive Smash player, so the moveset might not work well competitively, but that's for Nintendo to tweak. I'm saying all this, but I do think there's a high possibility that Rayman doesn't get added. But it's just fun to imagine how he would work as a fighter in Smash, which is why I made this video. Also to spread awareness, I guess, even though this video probably won't get many views. And if Rayman is in fact added and there are changes to his moveset, I won't mind because Rayman in Smash at all would be a great honor. Well, unless they completely shit on him like Raving Rabbids did. And if they decide to add the rabbits instead of Rayman because of that Mario crossover game, then this will be the first thing I do after getting it.